Good evening from London, a city filled with mourners sharing their grief and respect for Queen Elizabeth II. Some were silent witnesses to history in the making today as the monarch's 8 grandchildren stood vigil at her coffin. This is the first time grandchildren have ever taken part in this solemn ceremony for a monarch. They were led by Prince William and Prince Harry, who was in military uniform at his father, the King's request. He hasn't done so since he left royal duties. All 8 stood in silence for close to 15 minutes while mourners filed past. Outside, the queue of people waiting their turn went from the London Bridge to Westminster Hall, where the Queen is lying in state. Those who came out earlier today say it was worth standing in the cold all night long. Were you in line?
About 13 hours.
And what was it like in there?
It was incredible.
It can also be overwhelming.
It's our Queen. Everybody thinks, I think she would have gone on forever if we could have had her forever.
There are many watchful, caring eyes looking out for those in distress, from the Red Cross to teams of volunteer multi-faith leaders.
We've got rabbis and Sikhs and imams and various kinds of Catholic and Protestant clergy that are out here. Many people are saying, I'm here because it makes me think of my ma'am or my nan or my granddad, and they're here to represent all of that, but also re-grieving those other losses.
There is collective grief, but also appreciation, not just for the Queen, but for others like this veteran. And for the new king as he drove by. A short time earlier, he and his son William, who is now the heir to the throne, surprised the crowds waiting in the queue to pay their respects. Trying to get anywhere to pay the Queen tribute is a challenge. London is filled with a sea of mourners.
It's just crazy.
Julie Park is from Halliburton, Ontario. She decided to spend her 10-hour layover in London honoring the Queen.
You don't know where you're going, but you just follow the crowds and everybody with their flowers.
Throngs of people are taking this route to try and get to Buckingham Palace. The line, it goes as far as the eye can see and then beyond. Some are giving up. They're creating their own memorials. But no one complained. They're just happy to be part of this moment in time.
It's very amazing to see all the people's love for the Queen.
So beautiful, you know, they really mean it from their heart.
Earlier, I mentioned the Queen's grandchildren. Well, today, 2 of them, Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie, wrote a touching thank you to her. It reads in part, "We are so happy you are back with Grandpa. Goodbye, dear Granny." Justin Trudeau also paid tribute to the Queen today. He has known her since long before he became Prime Minister. Trudeau bowed his head in silence as he and his wife Sophie, accompanied by the Governor-General and High Commissioner, paid respects at the Queen's coffin. Unlike the dozens of world leaders who are in London ahead of Monday's royal funeral, Trudeau had a particularly personal relationship with Queen Elizabeth that spanned 45 years. He had known her since he was a small child, when his father served as her 4th Prime Minister. At London's Lancaster House, Trudeau signed an official book of condolence for a queen he called one of his favorite people in the world following the news of her death. Later, Trudeau had his first meeting with the newly minted monarch, who is focused on the future of the Commonwealth realms, the 14 former colonies over which he now reigns. Canada's Indigenous leaders are also looking to the future with Charles as king. Assembly of First Nations National Chief Roseanne Archibald, who was part of the delegation in London, told reporters she was conflicted about coming, but there is an interest in working cooperatively with the royal family on reconciliation.
When I reached out to a number of chiefs to talk to them about it, they indicated that I had to be here to make that representation and to show people that we're still here, that we have survived colonization, that we have survived genocide, and that we have this long-standing relationship with the Crown.
In due time, Archibald hopes to bring an Indigenous delegation to London to hold their own talks with the new king.